Hello everybody, Eve Everett here, and long time no see, sorry about that. So anyway, let's check out what's sold on eBay. This time we're going to be looking at vintage baseball hats and some really cool finds that you wouldn't really think that would sell that actually turned into some quick cash. But first, a point of interest. I now have a few videos up for VIPKid. I think VIPKid is a fantastic company. That VIPKid teaches English as a second language to children aged 4 through 12 in China. And you can make up to $12 per 25 minutes teaching with them and teaching one child at a time. It's a fantastic program to work for. The best thing about VIPKid is that you can set your own schedule. These children are in Beijing, China, so a lot of the times, depending on what coast you live on, it's very, very convenient if you are an online seller and looking for another stream of income that is significant and stable. So if you want to learn more about VIPKid or if you want to sign up, please use the referral link below. The reason I decided to do VIPKid is it's very flexible. You're an independent contractor, and I found myself getting really isolated just doing eBay and Amazon stuff. I do very well on both. I don't really need to do VIPKid. I just really wanted to get out and do something else so that I wasn't so isolated and talking to my pets. Because when you start talking to your cats, it's time to do something more. You know what I mean? All right. Okay, so let's move on to what you're here for, which is what's on eBay. First up, we have this wonderful antique Battenberg round tape lace tablecloth. I posted it for $189.99 and I sold it for $155. It took a little under a month to move that. Very gorgeous piece, from probably dates to the early 1900s to 1920s. Moving on, we have this vintage bamboo handled stainless flatware set of 16 with the original box from Japan. If you're out there and you can even pick up a few of these utensils, maybe a group of 4, lot them up, you can do pretty well. And luckily for me, I was able to pick up a complete set with the original box. I sold that for $79.99, and literally that took me under 7 days. I picked this Margaritaville Parrot up at the local Weigh and Go Goodwill. You guys know how much I love the Weigh and Go. Had the tag on it, sold that for $20, and I sold that in under 9 days. All right, this is one of my favorites because there was literally a blue bin of these at the Weigh and Go. So I snapped up every single one. These are vintage goody snap type barrettes. I had days of the week. I had these cute little bows, flowers, butterflies, and whatnot. And I literally just sold them in pairs and in groups of 4 until they sold out. They were all brand new. This was the last of the lot. I sold these for $22.99, but I was selling them for as high as $37. All right, back to flatware again. We have this mid-1930s silver plate flatware by National Silver Company. And it's not the complete set. Most of it was there, and it came in this fold-up that you see. I sold this for $79.99, and that took under 2 weeks to sell. Shipped out to California. Here we have a nice lot of Bates and Klink sterling silver charms. I just threw these together because they all had like a Virginia theme, and as you can see, they're still on the original papers. And I sold those for I took a best offer for $27. It took me about, why did I do that for? I posted them at the end of April and they sold in like 2 days. So I don't know what I was thinking, but there you have it. So this is a set of Zweigart and various pieces of linen and fabric that one would use to do cross stitch on. What I did over time was I just gathered up hither and thither, if that's a word, a bunch of stuff and put it together as a lot and sold it. And that's what you're seeing here. Because every once in a while, like I would just find like one, you know what I mean? So I put them all together. I waited, put them all together, sold them for $39.99, and that took me 6 days to sell. It is really difficult to go wrong with a vintage Hattie Carnegie scarf. This is a very striking color block scarf. Did have a little bit of damage to it, and I had to knock down the price. I put it up at $34.99, sold it for $20, and Again, another dumb move on my part. I don't know why I did it, because that took me about 12 days to sell. That was just kind of dumb. But anyway, there you have it. Okay, so here we have a vintage Cashmere Bouquet talc body powder. By the way, made in the USA. By the way, don't use this. It will give you cancer. Well, I don't know if that's quite accurate, but I did think at some point there was some massive class action over it for that reason. Yet, people, just like smoking, they want their very specific formula of Cashmere Bouquet. I sold it for 17 bucks and it took me 5 days to move it. No, I don't feel guilty. In case you can't tell, I let people live their lives. And if you've ever used a specific formula of something, like whether it's Gooby Gone or whether it's like there's like a specific Mary Kay lipstick that they changed the formula on, just wrecked it. Some people want a very specific formula. So there's a big market out there for if you happen to find something vintage and it matches that particular formulation, people are going to buy it. And that's what happened here. This is a McKee Jadeite flower measuring cup, 4-cup size with a little lip to it. Very cool looking, and you can find them they're pretty common on eBay. I sold mine for $54.99, and it took me a little over a month to move that. You know, it would be a crime if you don't sell a vintage lunchbox sometime in your life. This is a 1977 Star Wars metal lunchbox. Doesn't have a thermos, all banged up, but I figured it's going to move. It took me literally about 13 days to move that, and I took a best offer of $25.99. And as you can see, I think it's important that you not limit yourself to a particular, girl teaks, mantiques, whatever, you know what I mean? Like if you see something that's going to sell, pick it up, it won't kill you. So this is a lot of 21 brand new Philadelphia Flyer NHL lapel pins. I sold these to another dealer for $29.99. Took me just under a month to move those. Here we have a 1981 Beach Boys official concert tour shirt. This comes from that huge bundle of clothing that was literally on the side of the road. I've been mentioning that on and off for the last several videos. This is free, and I sold it for, I put it up for $39.99. Took it best offer for $28. Took me about 20 days to move that one. Okay, so for those of you who are interested in restoration hardware, this is a lot of 4 restoration hardware tin plates. Someone wanted to use these for a party they were having for somebody's graduation, so I said, knock yourselves out. They're yours for $29.99, and I got those at the Weigh and Go. It took me about, looks like it took me a little under 20 days to move those. This is probably one of the least expensive things I've sold in a while on eBay. This is a Sportcraft Champ model wood paddle, and I got this I put this up for 20 bucks, knowing that I wasn't going to get that. I took it best offer for $13, and I sold that looks like I sold that in like 2 weeks. Here we have a vintage faded New Jersey Air National Guard baseball hat. I love picking up baseball hats that are very specific, like for example, like this one. I did sell this for $20. It took me 2 days to move that, so clearly I underpriced it, but oh well, what are you going to do? And by the way, I like to mention the time that it takes me to sell things. I think that's helpful. Here we have a vintage Duke Blue Devils snapback hat by Twins Enterprise. I put this up for $34.99, took it best offer for $25. I would say it took me about 18 days to move that. The reason I give you the number of days, weeks, or months that it takes, or years that it takes to sell things is I think that that's just useful in determining whether or not that's something you want to get into. You don't want to be stuck with stuff forever. I gotta say, I was reluctant to sell this. It was like this really thick, luxurious peach 100% cashmere chunky cable sweater, and I loved it. But you know, things just gotta leave. You know, it is a slippery slope. If you fall in love with something, you're gonna fall in love with everything and keep it all. I listed this for $69, and it took me about 2 months to sell this, and it shipped to California. Here we have a vintage Aramis Cologne in the 2-ounce size. I listed this for $24, and literally I sold it on the same day, so I guess I mispriced it. But when I looked at the comparables, they were selling for a lot less than that, so go figure. Anyway, 2-ounce Aramis, made in USA, $28, or I'm sorry, $24, and I sold that on the same day, which was the 28th. If you ever come across a waxed coated canvas item by Fossil, make sure you pick it up, because if you look at how they sell, they can do quite well. Just make sure you put them at the higher prices. Some people are just stupid. But anyway, I posted this for $39.99. It took me about a month and a half to sell it, and I took a best offer for $34.99. I don't do a lot of vintage electronics and things of that nature, although I would love to. This is a vintage Radio Shack LCD highway game. In its original box, it does work, and they're pretty common. I put mine up at $29.99, sold it for $25, and it took me about 7 days to do that, shipped that to Delaware. No matter how hard I researched this darn Shocking by Schiaparelli perfume bottle, I just could not get it to give up its secrets. This is a huge bottle. I'm thinking that it was probably a sales floor sample or a prototype. It had very little of the tag left, so there really wasn't too much I could do about it. So I couldn't even find anything on WorthPoint. I put it up for $99, sold in 2 days for $99. This is a lot of vintage Ideal Tammy accessories. It includes a whole bunch of stuff there, cheerleading things. A couple of the shoes were actually missing their mates, which I specified, and I sold this for $24. Took me a little under a month and a half to move. And here we have a new era Phillies Cooperstown. It's basically the 1979 repro that they did. They did a whole series of repros, and that's one of them. And the repros called the Cooperstown edition tend to do very well. Anyway, I sold this for $22.99. Took me 4 days to move it. I'm not pricing things high enough. You know, sometimes it's funny when you do a retrospective analysis and you look at what things are selling for and either how long or how little time it's taking them, and then going, you know what, maybe I'm not pricing things aggressively enough. Anyway, this is a dark green fedora hat made in Rome. I put this up for $39.99, took a best offer for $25, and that took me about a month and a week to sell. Alright, so speaking of wholly retrospective analysis, this is a pair of swank glasses with rhinestones in them with a very attractive mid-century case. I had this thing listed for, it must have been at least, almost 3 years. Finally, they sold for $22.99, and I was sad to see them go. But that's a world's record for me. I really like selling Ballet Flats when I can get my hands on them. And Bach, I'm sorry, this isn't Bach, this is Born, although Bach is nice too, BOC. I sold these for $39.99. These were a size 12, so they are pretty desirable because it seems like the larger your shoe size, the harder it is to find them. It took me a little under a week and a half to move these, $39.99. If I can find automaker items in good condition, I pick them up. Here we have a Toyota logo zip organizer folder, maybe a wallet, maybe some sort of binder, I don't know. Anyway, I listed this for $22, and it took me about 2 months to move this. Shipped it to good old Orlando, Florida. I got this in the bins at the Weigh and Go, just tossed in. It's a unusual color purple metallic Casio GShock watch, and it was working, had a few scratches on it. It took me a little over 2 months to move it, but I did sell this for $49.99. And to wrap it up, this is a painting by Jill Addersley. She does did a lot of Isle of Skye paintings. I sold this for $99, shipped it to New York, took about a couple weeks to sell. Anyway, I hope you all had a good year so far. Keep it up, and good hunting.